On May 20th, 1865, Union Brigadier General Edward McCook announced President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation from the steps of what is now the Knott House Museum in Tallahassee. On that day, more than 9,000 slaves across Florida were freed. As they marched out of Tallahassee, some of the troops that accompanied General McCook gave some bass drums and snare drums to a few of the former enslaved people. To celebrate their newfound freedom, the former slaves played a fusion of the intricate military cadence they heard that day from the army drummers and the beats that they were accustomed to hearing in church and in their song and dance. This combination came to be known as the 20th of May drumbeat in Tallahassee and Leon County. For more than 150 years, it was passed down from parent to child and has been played at 20th of May celebrations throughout Leon County since 1867. Today, percussionist, tradition bearer, and Tallahassee native Hunter Hill is one of the few remaining keepers of the 20th of May drumbeat. Born in Tallahassee's St. Peter community in 1935, Mr. Hill is a direct descendant of the former enslaved people who created the 20th of May drumbeat.
The drums were passed down to myself and to these fellows here. And their parents and their ancestors were descendants of slaves in Florida. And so every 20th of May, we celebrate beating the drums.
Mr. Hill was 6 years old when his father first taught him the beat. Learning the beat was considered an honor, and the uninitiated drummers were expected to practice constantly. Each day when the clock struck 12 noon in the Hill home, young Hunter was expected to put in practice. The 20th of May drumbeat has two parts. The percussionist was required to master the bass drum part first. The following year, if the elder deemed them ready, they graduated to the snare drum. Consisting of quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes, the 20th of May drumbeat might look like a typical drum pattern on paper. What makes it culturally significant is the act of the elder drummer teaching the next generation. In this process, cultural understanding and history are passed down. This informs the interpretation of the beat. The drummer inherits the tradition and learns how to add the soul and how to make the cadence sing and talk. At 20th of May celebrations, drumming would fill the air. The festivities were full of food, singing, and games. These days represented the spirit of joy, freedom, and love in the black community. As the city of Tallahassee began to grow, it incorporated rural communities like St. Peter. Residents moved away, and the number of individuals who received the 20th of May drumbeat from the older generations declined. Realizing that the 20th of May drumbeat was in danger of being lost forever, the Florida Department of State granted Hunter Hill a Folklife Apprenticeship in 2019. The beat was recorded, transcribed, and submitted to the State Archives of Florida, where it is preserved among the state's priceless historic and cultural treasures. In an effort to continue the tradition to keep the drumbeat and Mr. Hill's knowledge of the beat alive, in 2020, the John G. Riley Center and Museum created the Freedom Drum Project to teach the drum pattern to a new generation of youth and preserve this important piece of history for Florida and the Tallahassee community for generations to come. In recognition of his efforts to keep this endangered cultural tradition alive and for his work to pass down this distinct piece of Tallahassee history to future generations, the Florida Department of State Division of Arts and Culture was pleased to present Hunter Hill with the Folklife Heritage Award.